They identify it. See, that's someone else's house. That's not even. These aren't mine. These are other people.
That shit look like aliens.
Download that app, dude. It's
Shit like
raw.
aliens sprouting seeds and shit.
I'm telling you, this is a free app. It's raw as fuck. You can identify anything out there. It'll tell you about it. Genus, species, class,
You
order.
need to send that to Richmond Heights right now and show them that's what's growing in the basement.
That's what I was working on.
You
I
need to
already
send
sent it
that
to
to
my
Richmond
attorneys.
Heights. You need
I
to
already
send
sent
that
it to
to
my
Richmond
attorneys.
Heights.
And I already have pictures. Yes, I have everything in a flash drive, and I'm waiting to hear back from the town hall when I can bring the flash drive in that I can give them with all the pictures of everything I've documented. I'm waiting for a lot. I can't believe no one's called me since I've been down there. Oh, I'm tired of just waiting all day for like this shit.
You don't know no growers?
Huh?
You don't know no growers? I'm about to have.
I know some,
I'm about to have plants. I'm about to have seedlings for sale. I'm about to have starter plants for sale.
my buddy Brett. I'm actually supposed to go out there tomorrow night, and I'm going to stay tomorrow night, Wednesday, and then come back Thursday morning. And because Aiden's got asynchronous or asynchronatic uh, homework, so he works from home. So I'm gonna go out there and then we're gonna do some stuff. We're putting up a bunch of no trespassing signs. We're finalizing the details for the property. We're making our own mailboxes out of wood and shit, putting numbers on them, and then we're gonna get all that ready to take down next week. Start our own shit, and we're gonna start building some kind of other little shit to take down there.
So
And then he said he might take me to the glass house, um, so I can get some tattoo supplies, and then we're gonna start my tattoo shop. That's down in the basement. We're gonna build the clean room. He told me, he's like, if you want to come out here and stay at 2 to 3 days a week or whatever, he's like, you're still more than welcome. You got tattoos you want to do, you can come stay out here, have them come do. He's not even requesting anything. He just wants to see me prosper because he knows.
what's good? Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Santorio Hector. Stock market savage, self-taught investor, Cleveland record producer, cannabis grower, and breeder. It should be 9 likes. I see 9 people in the live. Let's get 9 likes. I'm sitting here with Liminal Darren,
What's up, yo?
my first rock artist on my record label.
Check it out.
I
Check
told
it out.
y'all we was gonna transition to content. We talk about the stock market and investing because I feel like every American should be an investor right now. I feel like that right now we in a trying time. We
It's
are in a
time.
we are in a trying time, guys. We are in a war. My portfolio has never been this discombobulated. Let's excuse my language. My portfolio has not been this fucked up since I started teaching myself to trade back in the weekend of July 4th of 2024 when I started to put money into my Robinhood portfolio and teach myself how to trade stock options contracts and things of that nature. Like and subscribe. I see somebody took the what did you take your like back? Whatever. Listen, we are at war and there are so many stocks that are 50, 30, 40%, 20% below their all-time high, that are beneath their true market value. The geopolitical unrest. I'm still here. I'm still investing. I'm still trading. I'm still building my portfolio. I'm still investing money when I can. Like really volatile and unpredictable. But at the same time, as an indigenous Native American, I have to stand with America. I have to stand with America I have to pray for President Trump. I personally, I don't agree with. I mean, I get that it's a free country and that we have the right to free speech and things of that nature, but I believe that it- it's a certain time when political affiliation should be put to the side for the benefit of the country overall as a whole and what's best for the country as a whole, not what's best for the Democrats, not what's best for the Republicans, but what's best for Americans, what's best for American citizens, what's best for American investors, what's best for American companies and corporations. For years and years, I was born in 1970. I was born when all of this unrest began with these situations that started to occur between America and the Middle East. As an indigenous Native American, who a lot of people might assume from the texture of my hair or whatever that I'm an African American. I am descended from the indigenous peoples that existed in this country before any other race or ethnicity ever came and landed foot and set foot on this country. I am a descendant of the indigenous people of Turtle Island, which has now become what is known as America. And so as this country being the ancestral homeland of my ancestors, I would never want to see it decimated or destroyed. And so, for that reason alone, I have to stand with America and with the president of America and with the government of America and with the country and the armed forces of America, which is consisted and made up of our sons and daughters who are sacrificing their lives and putting their lives on the line. Now, on the flip side, this shit is so deep because I didn't understand to the capacity of what's really going on and how this is affecting our markets. I see a lot of my people from um, the Middle East, looks like from the area. Wow. Wow. Why would you assume that, Gilu? Why would you assume that, Gilu? Guess what Gilu just said?
Mm.
Wow, that's deep. That's why I'm totally he said I'm drunk. That's deep.
He said that what you're saying is
He said you are drunk. I'm definitely not drunk because let me tell you something, Gilu. There is no substance or there is no drug that I could ever partake of that could overpower
or sway you,
my
your actual
natural
opinion.
my natural abilities to exercise my intelligence that is God given.
True.
Now, when you say drunk, I would like to understand what you mean when in Europe and in England and in Wales and in Germany, it's the ethnic culture to have a beer with breakfast. So when you say drunk, like when a person that is drunk is a person that is intoxicated to the level of their intoxication is interfering with their judgment, with their ability to communicate, and with their physical actions, which is why they give you a sobriety test to see if you can stand on one leg without wobbling, which I'm doing right now. So when you come into my live making assumptions, the only thing that's wrong with me is I got 132nd Ethiopian, and so my hair is thick as fuck, like like wool, like they said the Lord's hair was, and I need my shit braided. My blood type is O positive, baby. I'm the descendant of indigenous. Los God! I am the descendant of indigenous people. Yeah, once I'm a real assassin. Once I learn your walk, once I stay you, I can hit you with the deuce deuce rifle with the scope, cause I know that's you. 200 yards out, like my Irish Italian father who raised me taught me. What's up, Los God? We about to get busy with this music too, bruh. I got you. I got all the tracks that you sent me. You on my next compilation. I see Los Guy. Once I learn your walk, you see, he stopped when I called him. Look, he all the way, he 200 yards out, bro. I'm a real assassin. I was trained by my Irish Italian. My mother's husband was a white man, bro. Irish, yeah, not ever drunk. I might be looking a little rough. You know, I'm taking care of business. You crazy popping in my live saying something disrespectful like that. We trading the market, bro. And what we just trying to bounce back. And what I want y'all to know is like it's a lot going on with this war. Like with what happened in Iran when we bombed uh these facilities where they house these missiles, like it's a lot going on. A lot of people have died from this war, a lot of Iranians, and a lot of that information is not being reported, but it's being reported on YouTube channels and through different media outlets because the way media is distributed and structured is somewhat different. And um, what's happening with the markets? This may They were saying that the Iranians were telling their people to get entrenched and to get ready for a war that might last 5 years. So if you think about that, the Iranians were saying like as long as Trump is in office, we're going to be at war with America. They said 5 years. He's got he may have he has 4 years in office. What is it? 4 years in office? Like what people are not understanding is this is serious, and this is still the best time to get in the market because the only thing that can happen is that America is either decimated or we come out on top. If we come out on top in the situation, eventually our markets will recover. And if our markets will recover, we know that the best time to get into the market is when the market is down and going down. And because of the geopolitical situation and what is really happening in Iran and with America and with this war, um, the volatility that exists in the market may very well exist for some time to come, which means the market will be up, the market will be down, the market will be up, the market will be down. It's a scary situation because why is the British pound and the Canadian dollar increasing in value against the American dollar? The Canadian dollar traditionally, when you go to Canada and spend and buy something with US dollars, you get hella change back. And now why and how could the Canadian dollar ever be close to equal with the US dollar? That shows the seriousness of what is happening right up under our nose. No, because I'm not an investor or a trader that comes to my platform in fancy suits and with a lot of material shit behind me to talk about the markets and explain from what my view of the market is, what's really happening. All the indexes are up today. Look, And still,
The highly anticipated phase 3 trial, the drug nearly doubled the typical length of survival and cut the risk of death by 60% versus chemotherapy, according to the company. RevMed said it will soon seek FDA approval for the drug using a
all the index was up.
review. Shares of Dell being higher today after the company announced that AMD had added the company as a commercial PC customer for the first time. The stock hitting an all-time high back to its relisting in 2018. Shares of AMD flat on the news, but you can see Dell at more than 6%. And SanDisk higher after the Nasdaq said late Friday that the company would join the Nasdaq 100 before the bell on April 20th, replacing software company Atlassian. SanDisk up nearly 7% on that news. And the cybersecurity ETF bug making a comeback today after closing down more than 5% last week on the elevated threat from Anthropic's Mythos model. But there's still a lot on the line for the companies looking to prove their relevance in the face of advanced AI. Our Seema Modi is following this story closely. Seema, feels like a really high bar, an increasingly high bar for them to prove that moat still exists.
Yeah, and time is of the essence now, Leslie. We have both CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks. These are the two biggest names in cybersecurity. They were among the 40 companies that got to preview Anthropic's Mythos model. This is the AI model that is deemed so powerful that if it's released to the public right now, it could essentially break the internet. Now, the street is anticipating updates from both cybersecurity giants, Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike, this week. Upgrades that they're making to their security architecture to counter any cyber event tied to the release of Mythos. Their updates could give the market a better timing on when the specific AI model would go live. And it comes as Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon telling investors this morning on the company's earnings call that it's working closely with Anthropic and all of its security vendors, adding that the bank is accelerating investments in security, which echoes what Wall Street has been saying for a while, with Mythos presenting a greater risk. Analysts at Wolf see customers really across Fortune 500 clients increasing their near-term spending as enterprises rush to bolster cyber defenses ahead of an impending cyber battle. So there's been this big debate that if there is a cyber event related to Mythos, Leslie, who's going to be able to fix it? Is it the incumbents in cyber in the cybersecurity world that we cover, or is it actually the large language model that created the AI model? And now we're expecting an update from the incumbents on what they can do to mitigate any type of risk.
And also pressing, of course, is what if that threat doesn't come from Mythos, but comes from something that's being worked on abroad, maybe the Chinese or another actor elsewhere. Given your technological know-how in the space, how well equipped do you think the incumbents are to ensure that the system is secure at this point in time, especially as this technology, innovation is changing so rapidly?
Yeah, the evolution is happening at machine speed. So the cybersecurity companies, what they're telling us is that they're making all the updates they can on a daily and monthly basis to ensure that their customers, which are across every sector, have the tools in place to identify the attacks, the vulnerabilities, and also the fixes that they can happen real time. And I will also point out the two biggest players here, CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks, have been on an acquisition spree over the last 12 months, Leslie, to be able to ensure that they have the AI capabilities to counter these new types of risks that are being presented right now. So again, the latest update we get this week, that will be key because this is going to be following the preview they got of Mythos. They'll have a better take on what can be done by their companies.
Yeah, Solomon was actually asked on their earnings call about the convening of bank CEOs last week as it pertains to this. And he did insinuate it's not the first time they've been kind of pulled together to talk about cyber risks facing the industry. But obviously, they were in DC for something separate. And so it was kind of a convenient time to talk about these newer risks that the industry could potentially face if it's unleashed into the wild, essentially.
That's why I included that comment, only because it's the first company to actually say there was a meeting, officially, and here's what we're doing right now to ensure that we've got what it takes to reduce any likelihood of a cybersecurity.
Absolutely. So important to secure that very critical material data. Seema, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now we put with Stephen for a CNBC News update. Hey, Peppa.
And Leslie, Minnesota officials will investigate the actions of federal officers, including kidnapping and false imprisonment charges, according to the AP. The Ramsey County Attorney General and Sheriff said they will release more details at a press conference today. Ramsey County includes St. Paul, which was a major target of ICE agents just a few months ago. Representative Eric Swalwell dropped his bid for California governor late last night amid sexual assault and misconduct allegations. One former staffer alleged that she had multiple sexual encounters with Swalwell while working for him, including two in which she was too intoxicated to consent. Swalwell has consistently denied the allegations, saying last night that he will fight the serious false allegations that have been made. And there could be a new king in the ad space. Research firm eMarketer says Meta will surpass Google in digital advertising revenue by the end of this year. Google has long relied on its search business, while eMarketer says Meta's AI-powered Advantage Plus ad suite will drive the social media behemoth past Google. Leslie, I'll send it back to you.
Wow, what an inflection point there. Pippa, thank you. Coming up, President Trump threatening to slap a 50% tariff on China over a reported arms shipment to Iran. We'll discuss the country's role in the war next.
My plane has a mechanical problem. I've got to get there as soon as I can. Breakfast looks delicious, as always. Having a chauffeured powered planes died helped keep me on schedule. Jeff, with all the plane shortages, did you have trouble finding one? I never have any trouble. I simply pick a plane, pay, and I'm ready to back it to my destination. We have a deal. Missed you at the meeting today. Don't miss out on the most important moments of your life. Call for a complimentary flight.
I wonder if this can beat the market. Everyone's talking about the NASDAQ 100, but let's get more specific. Software. Actually,
Stop always judging. I told y'all I got a lot going on. And when I say that, that's the truth. But we still invested. We still trading the market. I have to stand with America. I have to stand with my country. I have to stand with the homeland of my ancestors. I am descended from the indigenous peoples of the Americas, whether you believe it or not. This is my father who adopted and raised me.
Chase you over. Only LifeLock alerts you to the widest volume of threats others could miss, and if your identity is stolen,
Rest in peace to my father and my uncles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And waste in real life. Try restarting it. But I don't need to be a tech guy to enjoy AMC Plus. If you see
what's really taking place and what's happening right now, this is revelations. This is prophecy.
coffee dispenser, dispense.
Americans should. It comes a time when we have to realize that we have to stand with our country because ultimately, at the end of the day, what happens will affect our lifestyles. It will affect the way of life that we know it as today. It will affect our finances.
on the way.
It will impact so many aspects of the way that we live. And for Americans to not be invested in America, for Americans to not be invested in America, how do you get ahead? How do you get ahead if you don't believe and invest in your own country? That's like a person that has a dream or has a passion, but they don't believe in themselves because they won't invest in themselves. They won't pay for a class if you want to act, but you won't pay for a class and go to an acting class, or you know what I mean. You want to produce, but you won't pay a well-known producer to learn different production skills and crafts that can enhance your techniques or add to what it is that you already have going on. And so this poor mentality, because you could look at me and assume whatever because my hair is not braided or because my hair is done. Well, we know people that really have money will pop out and look so plain in a t-shirt and in some khakis and some loafers and be worth a fucking $1 billion, and you just overlooking them because we've been led to believe that in my culture, in my ethnicity, and where we come from, that symbols of wealth are material things as opposed to assets, stocks and bonds and real estate and businesses. But you know, in the culture, in the communities and the neighborhoods that I relate to and grew up in, people think that a nice ass car and a nice ass house with a mortgage and a bill and a car note and debt but because it visibly seems to express some type of accomplishment, because people value accomplishments through observations of what people have gained and what they show materially. That's not how the wealthy really operate and function. So while you assuming and popping in my life and assuming that somebody is drunk or intoxicated or not consciously aware of what I'm doing and what I'm saying and what I'm speaking in my life, just happen to be mistaken, brother. We right now, my objective is to let you see my journey on a mission to build $1 million portfolio out of the stock market. That journey has not ceased to exist or changed from the time I started this channel up until the present.
Tariffs would do, from the perspective of the Chinese? Do you think it would enlist them to put more pressure on the Iranians to come up with some sort of agreement with the U.S., or do you think it ratchets things higher from here?
They always got our people somewhere in the background.
Still doesn't plan to go to Beijing sometime.
Now, why is this relevant? They talking about investing,
Trade
but they got the melanated woman holding the baby. Look at the
would have an impact upon the global economy, ramp up even further prices here, consumer prices here in the United States. So I don't think we're going to.
That's a picture in his office. So this is the type of art that you can sell to people.
Convincing Iran to say yes to this ceasefire. Now, hopefully, they can play an important role in closing the gap between Iran and the United States on the terms of a durable settlement. Because at least judging by where we were when those talks,
Big calf, plump and juicy, overweight, melanated woman. That's what he got a picture of in his office.
Obviously, China, a big importer of Iranian oil.
That's what he like. That's what's in his office. That's what I'll be trying to show you.
Times.
In some ways, China is Iran's.
Learn to invest. America.
To China, they have very good